Hi everyone! In this video I'm going to show you how to paint this cosy autumn woodland scene using acrylic paints. This version is sped up to give you all of the essential tips in just 8 minutes, but if you'd like to follow along in real time with full step-by-step instructions and colour mixing guides, you can find the full-length tutorial over on my Patreon. I'll add the link below for you too. To begin, we'll start with the background. This is the furthest part of the painting, so we want soft, faded colours with very little contrast. I'm using a mix of muted yellows and greens, as well as some light brown to create that hazy depth that you often see through distant trees. The key here is to keep everything light and a little blurry, no sharp lines or dark tones. You can use a sponge to create a soft bushy texture along the horizon line and in the top corners of the canvas. This is a quick and simple way to create the effect of leaves blurred in the background. We can then start painting some trees. We want these trees to look faded in the distance, so make sure your paint isn't too dark. Paint the trunks across the canvas, but remember to leave a gap in the centre where the sun will be. Then we can use our sponge again to add in some blurred leaves at the top of the trees. Next, use some light brown paint to sketch in the path. The trick here is perspective. Make it narrower near the horizon and wider at the bottom of the canvas, which will draw the viewer's eye into the scene as well as creating a sense of depth. You'll want the bottom of the path to be almost as wide as the canvas. This is just a rough layout for now, so don't worry too much about details, it's more about setting up your composition. Now we can move on to the next layer, the trees in the middle distance. Use a slightly darker brown to paint the trunks and make sure they sit lower on the canvas than the trees in the background. This helps to bring these trees forward and creates a natural sense of depth. Here we can add a little more detail, like some gentle highlights on the tree trunks, especially on the side facing the sun. Use the same shade of paint to add some branches at the top of the trees. Then take a small to medium brush and start dabbing and twisting it to paint in the leaves at the top of these trees. Use a range of paint colours including medium to light browns, oranges and soft yellows. Remember to avoid too much contrast at this stage, we're still building up the layers gradually and we want the next layer to have the most contrast. Use the same technique to paint some bushes around the base of the trees to tie the ground and the trees together. Next, it's time to paint the foreground trees. These are the darkest and most detailed parts of the scene. Use a dark brown paint to paint the trunks on either side of the path. Make sure they're tall and bring them quite far down the canvas. This will help to frame the scene and add depth. To give them some shape, use a warmer, lighter brown to highlight the edges closest to the sun, and a very dark shade on the opposite side to create a shadow. If you want to know the exact shades of paint I use for this painting and how to mix them, I include all of this information in the full-length tutorial on Patreon. Now you can add in some branches reaching up and out from the trunks using the same colours, remembering to add a warm highlight on the edges facing the sun. This next part is my favourite part of the painting, adding in the sunbeams. Use white paint to paint the circle for the sun in between the trees. Then use a thin paintbrush and drag it outwards from the circle, creating a sunburst effect. This can overlap some of your tree trunks, giving the impression that the light is shining through the woods. Below each tree, paint some subtle shadows where the trunks will be blocking the sunlight. Then, using the dabbing motion again, you can add some leaves and bushes at the base of each tree. You can start introducing more contrast now, using darker browns and then mix in brighter oranges and lighter yellows. To really bring out the sunlight, use a light yellow highlight on the top edges of the bushes. Using a slightly desaturated brown, we can start to add in some shadows to the path. We can also add some lighter sections to suggest texture, like bumps and dips in the ground. Try not to overblend your paints, as we want to create a natural earthy texture for this. At this stage, it's time to paint in the leaves at the very top of the scene. Use the dabbing and twisting motion again, starting with the darker shades of brown paint, then gradually layer in brighter, more saturated oranges and yellows. Focus mainly at the top of the trees and branches, almost curving around the sun, creating a nice frame to the painting. Add more of the lighter yellows in the centre, right above where the sun is. This gives a glowing effect like sunlight shining through the leaves. Let's finish by adding some final touches. These small details help to pull the whole painting together. Use a small brush to add some falling leaves throughout the scene. Use a mix of browns and oranges, placing them in different positions and directions to make them feel like they're floating naturally through the air. And that's it, your autumn woodland painting is complete. I hope you enjoyed this sped up version. If you'd like to follow along at your own pace with the full step-by-step tutorial, including all of the paint colours and mixing instructions, just head over to my Patreon where you'll find this and lots of other full-length art tutorials. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this.